great way to welcome to SARS.
Had this call for weeks.
Hey guys, welcome to our team call. Now I'm making it worse because she's coughing, laughing. That's funny. We're so excited to have you guys here. I think our team is wrapping up January so strong, and I could not be prouder of all of you guys. Such amazing stories of growing, and, you know, like Jenni's getting higher volume than ever, and bigger paychecks are coming, and I'm seeing a lot of you guys step outside your comfort zone to do big things, and I can't tell you how proud I am of all of that. So we have a great call today. Jenni actually went to the new leadership conference, and she's going to share with you some amazing takeaways that she had there, and I'm super pumped. I highly suggest you guys get a notepad and a pen. I am ready to go with mine so that I can just glean all of the nuggets off of her. So highly suggest you guys get your notes out for that. Before we get started, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, when we get on these team calls, we always ask that you guys meet us halfway and turn off all your other distractions. That means Facebook goes away, cell phone goes off, whatever you need to do to make it so that we can all be here together, learning and growing together. Also, National Wake Up Call tomorrow is Brittany Leggett, and it is going to be so good because she's going to be talking about how to overcome just missing a goal and how to get back on track after that. And I really love that because there's such a spirit of moving forward, and even if you yourself haven't fallen back on a goal, learning the tips that she has is going to help you be a stronger coach for your coaches if and when they need that. Did we want to talk about promos first? I kind of wanted you to be able to talk and then us open up for questions so that it's seamless. February promos for challenge packs are 21 Day Fix and 21 Day Fix Extreme and that Kickstart pack. Those are all continue being on sale. Size and Size Kickstart, and then a 3-day refresh as well. You can find the FAQ at $43.94 for the February ones. And then, did you want to talk about Team Cup before going into NLC?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Am I unmuted? Yeah, I didn't know if I was still muted. So you guys know that we have Team Cup coming up in February. If you're not on a Team Cup team, I highly recommend that you guys forge one this last, 3 hours that we have. There's numerous reasons that people opt not to be in them, and usually it's like a fear of letting people down, and we don't want you guys to feel that way. Sometimes we'll get a team together and we'll be like, all right, this is gonna be like a push, this is gonna be a push group, so whoever's gonna be on my team is like really gonna try, you're gonna go for it. But there's also low pressure teams too, where it's just like, okay, well, we're gonna try for this, but it's not a pressure thing. It's really a chance for you to step out of your comfort zone and your comfort zone and see what you're capable of. That's why Beachbody created it. They did talk about that at NLC also, about that Team Cup was created to let you see what you can do. When you pair up with a bunch of other teammates and you guys say like, all right, like what can we do today? And somebody like spouts out a number like, well, I've never done 15 hay girls in one day. And everybody's like, all right, let's try that. And then you just do it, you don't think about it. You think about the fact that everybody else in your team is doing that same exact action. So it should take some of the fear out of it because you know that everyone's doing it. It's just really about pushing yourself and seeing what you can do. Even if it's like not pushing yourself like, I have to get 10 Success Club points, but just pushing yourself like slightly out of your comfort zone, So if you're not on a Team Cup team, we highly encourage you to go ahead and do that. I'm going to shut down my Facebook now because it's beeping me in the background. But I want to know from April, which picture of yours is going freaking that viral? That's amazing. You get to unmute yourself for that.
The stupid circle the words one. It has went crazy. I have stopped looking for friends, and I have gotten over 300 friend requests.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's ridiculous crazy. So it's still going. I've gotten hits in Philippines, Hong Kong. Like, where are we in Beachbody? Because I'm getting hits everywhere. Germany.
That's just because Facebook. That's because Facebook's everywhere.
So where's Beachbody? Is it everywhere?
Beachbody is only in the U.S. and Canada.
Okay.
So that's where you want to, focus. Is that on your personal page or on your business page?
No, it's on my personal. It went ballistically crazy, and I put a Waldo one up today to just kind of.
I saw the Waldo one, and I
and it's starting to take off. So people like those stupid games.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. That's so cool. And that's the thing too. That's really actually a great point. It's like, we never know what's going to like go viral or go big. It just takes like the right couple of people like really sharing it, and like you have no control. Like, I'm sure when you posted that, you didn't think like, this is what's going to happen. Oh my God, there it is. You're not kidding. 10,720 people liked it, 266 shares, and 6,778 comments. Wow. That's awesome, girl. That is amazing.
That it's just crazy. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Meditating and manifesting works, people. Okay, I'm muting now.
Yeah, you should help do a call on that, because I believe that that's true too. That's amazing and crazy, and I love it. And especially if like puzzles and things like that is like your jam, then the people who are responding to it and sending you friend requests about it are like your people, you know? So that's really cool. Wow, that's awesome. Not gonna lie, a little bit jealous. That's really cool. I did the panda bear one, and like only like 6 people commented on it. So whatever. I guess people like panda bears, like they like people sitting on the carpet. But anyways, okay. So I'm going to jump into my NLC. You're going to hear me say NLC. It's the New Leader Conference. It's for anybody that achieves 2-star or above within a calendar year. And so you guys can all do that this year. I have no doubts that you guys can do that this year. So I actually challenge you all to go 2-star this year so you can be at the conference next year. Just little tidbits on like how amazing it was. There was a way that you could earn your own hotel room. You had to get a certain amount of elite points, which I know elite points sounds totally foreign to some of you brand new coaches. Don't worry, you'll learn what they are, and just don't worry about the verbiage. And I earned those elite points. Actually, I didn't earn them. My team earned them for me, because elite points are actually earned for you by your team. So thanks, team. So I earned the elite points. So I got my hotel room was paid for, and it's like a $300 a night hotel room. I don't know about you guys, but that's not how I normally travel. We are a family of 5. We do not book $300 a night hotel rooms. We are like, Motel 6, do you have any vacancies? Thank you. Like, $300 a night is like, that's bananas. And guess what? It didn't look any different than like a Holiday Inn. I'm just saying. So you're paying for the name. But anyways, so they put us up in these hotel rooms. We got swag bags. It was really an intimate setting. You guys saw my pictures with Carl, and my pictures with Michael Neiman, and my pictures with Autumn. And it was so different than another event, because if you guys have been to a Beachbody event where there's been celebrity trainers or Carl's been there, it's like they have those things are called step and repeats. They have the step and repeat, and they have the celebrity trainer or the celebrity CEO standing there, and you walk in and you get your picture, and then you go. Like, that's the time you get, you know, it's like there's a line, like, keep going. So with this, we're literally hanging at the bar, and Carl and Autumn are like sharing some sashimi and having a drink, and like, you got your time with them. You know, I got to tell Carl how thankful I was that he created this business, and how I was an Army wife, and how I was so turned off by all, you know, MLM companies or any kind of like network marketing, because all the military spouses have their company. They're selling you candles, or they're selling you this, or they're selling you that. And I refuse to be that stereotype. But how once I had done the program and got my results, that none of that mattered anymore. I just believed in the product, and I believed in what we did. And, 3 days into my training, it just changed my life. And I was able to tell him all these things, you know, and then we took some selfies, and then he told me that my Lumi case stole his soul. And I was like, cool, I'm going to like channel that when I need some, you know, when I have a block or whatever. With Autumn, I got to talk to her and tell her how Hammer and Chisel is changing booties left and right in Misfit Republic, you know, because there was like literally a 2-day span where like 8 of us coaches who were doing Hammer and Chisel, we all posted about our asses. Like, I'm not even kidding. And not even seeing or knowing other people's. Like, I posted about mine. I was like, well, we all know I've always had a butt, but I mean, it's looking even better now. Andrea had posted about how her jeans split in New York, and Andrea's never had a butt. And so that's what I told Autumn. I told her all about how Andrea split her pants. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's like the best testimonial ever. I'm like, I know, right? So it was just really cool. It wasn't like a step and repeat kind of thing. Like, you know, Laura, I can tell you, like at Summit, we didn't do any of the meet and greets with the celebrity trainers or anything, because we were like, I don't want to stand in line. I don't want to stand in a 2-hour line just to take a picture and then go, you know? So this was so much better. And Lorelai actually can vouch for, she actually got moments like that on the Success Club trip last year, you know, like she got to do that. Like it's these having the opportunity, these intimate settings. Like tell me your Tony Horton story, because it's really good.
When I got to meet Tony Horton, I whispered in his ear, I said, "Don't tell my husband, but I love you." And Andrea got a picture right as he's going like, "Oh!"
Yeah, and that was another thing, you know, she got to do that, and she wasn't rushed.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like take your picture and get the frick out of here, you know? So it's those kind of things that made this trip, like I will never forget this trip because of that. On top of it, like I said, they gave us a swag bag, which some people got Hydrate. You know, we just came out with the new the packets of Hydrate and Energize. So some people had Hydrate in their backpacks and some people had Energize. They fed us lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They fed us 5 or 6 meals plus an all-you-can-drink night. Hello. Which they were smart about. They did it the first night because they knew that we didn't want to be hungover for the workout. And then the last night, they just gave us 1 drink ticket and then a cash bar. It's like, oh, you guys are smart. But I just want to show you guys like how much our company cares about us and really like supports us and developing us and stuff. And that was the main thing that I took away from this was that I like being spoiled. No, just kidding. Was how much they care about us as coaches and rewarding us for what we do. So the things I'm going to go over with you guys, it's all going to seem like it's kind of like all over the place, but it all just comes back to like the big picture of what we do and why it's important and little things that I'm trying to just trigger in your minds. So I'm just going to kind of go down my list that I made for tonight. And like I said, it's kind of going to be all over the place, but if you go and watch the videos that I put in the file section, I think there's Melanie Mitro's and Bonnie Ingalls and Carl's. I'm going to talk about Carl's in a little bit. And they're just really good. You guys can just get the sense of passion for everybody, for the company, and their desire to really help us, you know, move our businesses forward. So the big takeaway that myself and the other Misfits had, we went to brunch the day after the conference ended, and it was like a lightning bolt. I believe it was Bonnie Ingle, and she said, you know, this business, it's not easy. Like, anybody can succeed in it, but it's not easy per se. Like you do have to have a little bit of hustle in you, you know, you do. You have to want to show up for your business. You have to want it. You have to believe in it. But when it comes down to it, this business really is just simple steps repeated over and over and over again. And I've said that a couple times since I've been back from the conference, and I will continue to say that. Like it's true. If you think about it, that's why we have a power hour. That's why we have our 3 vital behaviors now coming to be 4. But it really is. It's just simple actions repeated over and over again. And those actions are working on yourself. Those actions are sharing your journey and inviting others. Those actions are personal development so that you have a safety net for when things get rough. You know, you need something in your life telling you that things are good when things in your business are going bad, you know, or when things in your personal life are going bad, telling you that your business is good and worth it. So these are well thought out things, you know, these action steps that we ask you guys to take every day. It's not just something that they just made up one day. There's a purpose behind everything in Beachbody. And what I'm realizing is that just as lucky as we are to have Misfit Republic, in general, we are lucky to have Beachbody. As I've been a Beachbody coach, I've talked to people in other businesses and they just don't have it as good as we do. Their CEOs and their VPs and their presidents don't want the way that ours want. Like ours want success for us, and because they know that the success for us means that we are solving a problem like in the world. Like Beachbody is trying to go global, you guys. Like that's huge. And we're doing it so passionately and so genuinely that it's like we're not trying to sell somebody saran wrap with preparation H on it, you know, like that's not health and fitness. That is somebody who's trying to make money. Again, I'll talk more about that when I talk about Carl. But so moving on, you know, business, small actions, simple actions repeated over and over again, you're going to find success. Think small. So one of the big things that was really funny, because Andrea has been talking about it a lot, and then they also brought it up at NLC, was, you know, thinking small. Like a lot of times people Emerald seems so hard, and they get to Emerald and they're like, oh my God, Diamond is seriously so hard. So like breaking it down, you guys, thinking small, go Emerald and then try and go Emerald again in the next couple weeks. You've added 2 coaches, now repeat that. Just add 2 more coaches, okay? And then congratulate yourself for going Emerald. Set yourself like an Emerald gift, dude. Say every time I go Emerald, meaning add another coach on the other side, give yourself a freaking gift. Like go buy a new nail polish, go get a manicure, go like whatever, buy your dog a dog sweater because some people are really into that, you know? But like do something where you're celebrating those small things because you know what? If you went Emerald every 2 weeks, you would be Diamond within 4 months, even if you lost some coaches, assuming that you taught your girls how to go Emerald too. Like, that's not scary, right? So many of us become coaches, or when you become Emerald, your sponsoring coach will be like, okay, so what's your goal for Diamond? And they'll shoot it out. It'll be like 9 months or like a year later. And it's like, it doesn't have to, because Diamond sounds scary. Oh my God, I have to get 8 coaches. I barely got 2. Like now I have to get 8 plus they have to get coaches, you know? So just think small in everything. The Emerald thing was just an example. Have a plan. Again, I told you guys this is going to be all over the place. Have a plan. Things are going to get bumpy in this business. Again, going back to PD, you know why personal development is so important. You need little like angels, not a devil and angel. You need like 2 little angels on your shoulder telling you how amazing you are at all times. It gets hard. Something that I really recommend is Lorelai and I both have read it. It's called Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, and it's by Darren Hardy. It's an amazing book. It's like I always like to do a business personal development and like a personal development, but this kind of ties the 2 together in a really good way. Like, don't you agree, Lorelai? Like, it's like he really builds you up as a person, but then is like talks about business too. Do you want to talk a little about?
I love that book, especially because he starts out from like rock bottom failure, and then he tells you how he like haphazardly was able to rise above it, but then also the purposeful motions rising above it. But the fact that it is a roller coaster for everybody is a lot. I don't know, like I can relate to that. Then I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter how I get there, you know, like, and embracing the journey the whole way. It's such a good book. And for people who are newer to PD, it is a really easy read. It is, because he's so engaging.
Yeah, and Lorelai and I, we both listen. You listened to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we listened to it. What Lorelai just said about the failure and like coming out of it, like, or the purpose part that she said, there's a part in the book where he actually talks about he needed 1 more sale so we can kind of Darren Hardy is the one who wrote it. He actually he also wrote Compound Effect. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Compound Effect, which is another one that we highly recommend. He talks about this one part in the book, and he just needed 1 more sale to get like his quarterly bonus. So it's kind of like the same with us. Like, I just need like 1 more Success Club point to hit Success Club this month, you know? And he was selling vacuums at the time. I think it was vacuums. And so he was recruiting. So he needed these other people to sell vacuums to. And so he's sitting there and everybody leaves. And this one lady, she had just become a widower in the last like 6 months. And she was ready. Like, he had her hook, line, and sinker. He was the perfect salesman. He had her pitched. He was going to send her out into the world to sell vacuums. And she came to him and she said, if I invest in this, she's like, this is all my money. And she looked at him and she said, can I be successful at this? And he looked at her, and all he had to do was say yes. He just had to be like, absolutely, you can do this, and take her money, and he would have made his quarterly sales bonus. And he looked at her and he was like, this isn't for you. He's like, you're 62 years old. No one's going to buy a vacuum from you. You can't even carry the vacuums into people's houses. No, this isn't for you. I'm sorry. I won't take your money. And she thanked him and everything. And that day, like, changed his life. He went to his vacuum sales company, which he had been very successful at. And he quit that day. And he was like, and he just started something new. But that is purpose. You know, he knew that he could have made the wrong decision that was right for him. So anyways, I really recommend that book, especially it has so much to do with our business. And he actually talks about P90X quite a few times in there. Just randomly, he'll just be like, if you want to P96 yourself into abs or whatever. It's funny.
You know, there are some chapters of that book that I didn't think would relate to us in our business. It was like hiring people. And I was like, I don't even want to listen to this. But then I saw Andrea say that it actually related. So I was listening to that one. And that one is a lot about attracting the right team members. And so it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I love that book. I love it. And it's so funny because at the end he talks about it's better to read one good book 6 times than 6 books and only get a little bit from them. And so I need to actually go back and read that, but I'll get there. So making sure that you have a plan for when things get bumpy. Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. So make sure that you have a plan for when things get bumpy. Also, make sure you have a support system. That's what this team is for. I can't tell you how many times like I've gone to Lorelai or Lacey and just been like, oh my gosh, like I feel like a failure, or I feel like nothing's going right in my business. And it's okay to vent, but it's like, what are you gonna do to get yourself out of there? Don't get stuck. This is like part of that same thing. Don't get stuck. If you ever feel stuck, you just go back to basics, you guys. We have a Coach Basics script back in the Coach online, or not the Coach Online office, but actually we do have one there too. But we have it in Andrea's in the misFIT Republic website. Go back there and do the days yourself if you're feeling stuck. That all goes back to the simple action steps repeated all over again. When we're stuck, a lot of times it's because we've kind of like, this is what we're supposed to be doing, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We kind of like go veer to the side because it's working. It's like, it's working. I'm going to keep doing it. And then all of a sudden it's not working anymore. So we just need to go back to the basics and just keep going, and then it's okay because it's working. Oh, but we got to go back, so just make sure that you have a plan for when things get hard, because they're going to get hard, you guys. We can sit here and I can tell you, and Laurel, I can tell you, and I'm looking, and I know Danielle has a story about, she went like this, and then some of her coaches, started like dropping off, and then, so a lot of us who've been coaches, if you've been a coach for more than 6 months, you've probably hit a bump in the road, and just have a plan. That was like one of the big things they talked about, is having a plan for getting on track and not getting frustrated, because something that you have to realize is, on the off chance that you're a loser and you decide to quit Beachbody, which I don't know why you would, I'm just kidding. You're going to have to ask yourself someday, it might not be when you're quitting or whatever, but you're going to have to ask yourself, like, did Beachbody not work for me, or did I not work for Beachbody? And I don't mean that like that we're their employees or anything like that. But were you not doing what you were supposed to do? Did you not do the training that was available? Did you not take advantage of the resources that were available? Did you not take advantage of the team calls, which obviously all of you guys are, because you're here. But you'll have to answer that question. It might not be the day that you decide to give up, but some point down the line, when you continue to see the rest of us, being successful and having fun doing it, you will have to answer that question for yourself, because I truly 100% in my heart, in my soul, believe that anybody can find success in this business. I absolutely do. Okay. Moving on. Are you willing to do what others won't? That was a huge thing talked about too. There's that whole entrepreneur quote that entrepreneurs in general, which is what you guys are. So yay. I never thought I would be one. Like, I guess I've always had an entrepreneur spirit, but I didn't know that I would ever actually be one. There's that whole quote, and I just posted it the other day, so it should be on the top of my mind, but it's not. Entrepreneurs are willing to work a few years out of their life the way that others won't, so that they can live the rest of their life how others can't. So are you willing to put in the time, the couple of years that it's going to take, our biggest success that's the closest to us is obviously Andrea. Andrea is making over $8,000 to $9,000 a week. I don't know what that looks like, you guys. Like, I don't know what that kind of income looks like. She makes more in a month than I've ever made in a year, so thinking of that, her first year wasn't like that. Her second year wasn't like that. Guess what? Her third year wasn't like that either, but her third year was still pretty damn good. And now she's in her fourth year, and like, it's amazing, So are you willing to hustle? Are you willing to do those action steps, those simple action steps every single day to build up to like something big, So think of the big picture. Always have the big picture in mind when you're doing those like small action steps. Next point is recognizing time-wasting behaviors. This is Melanie Mitchell actually gave us 2 talks, which was very generous of her to give us that much of her time. Recognizing time-wasting behaviors. We all know that it can be really bad. Like, you hop on Facebook to post a post, and even it was so funny, like Lorelai just said, she was posting in our challenge group, and she got distracted by, was it Amanda's? Did you say it was Amanda's post?
Yeah.
That happens. That totally happens. Or your scroll, somebody posts a cute baby or somebody, whatever. Somebody posts something like that, like is dramatic, and you just go and you just got to read like all 72 comments, and you're like, I know this is bad. I know this is bad. I know this is bad. Like, I don't even know this person. Because you guys all know as we add to our networks, like there's some people that you'll try and build a relationship with, but you don't quite. And then they're still in my newsfeed sometimes. I'm like, who is this person and why is their life so interesting? But like in a bad way. Like, I got caught in one yesterday and I was like, oh my God, Melanie Mitchell would be so mad at me right now.
The whole, I'm just here for the comments, eating popcorn. Like, I'm sorry.
The horse that I love this post.
Or those daggum tasty videos. They're like crack. I can't. I'm like, ugh. Like I just watched. Or Nancy's cookie decorating. I don't know what it is. Like I just sit there and I want to just like, it pops up and I'm like, ugh, like drool. Ugh.
I tell Nancy, I'm like, why'd you have to go and start making delicious cookies after I moved away? But I guess it's actually a good thing.
Hers are too pretty to eat.
I know. They're so... this is totally sidebar. Sorry, I'm glad we're recording. Did you see the ones where she did for the little girls' party? And it was like, so they could paint their own?
Yes, I love it.
Oh my God, so cute. Okay. So yeah. So recognizing time-wasting behaviors like what we just had going on. That was a time,
Don't do this.
Don't do it. I just wasted your time. I think it was about 3 minutes of your life that you will never get back. But there's actually some things that you can do to help that. If you use Google Chrome as opposed to Safari or Firefox, if you use Google Chrome, there's actually an what are they called?
Add-on.
An add-on. It is called an add-on, right? I was going to say that, but it didn't sound right. Yeah, an add-on. And you can stop your Facebook scroll. And it's like literally called Stop Getting Distracted on Facebook. So you can stop your Facebook scroll so nothing new comes up. But you can also work off of your apps. Like there's a Facebook groups app. So if you know you have certain ones you have to check in on, like your Facebook, your team page, or things like that, you can go in the groups app and you can just open them and then scroll those instead of all of Facebook. Or you can open up just Messenger if you have Facebook Messenger on your phone and just do that and reply to all your messages or write the people that you want to write. So that was a couple of the really good tips that she had for recognizing time-wasting behaviors. And obviously there's other ones that are time-wasting that are not just Facebook also, not getting like lost in like blog land, not getting lost, because when it's broken down, you guys, this business really can be built in an hour or two a day. It really can, as long as you are focused and you are intentional in what you're doing. So I need to work on that. I work about 27 hours a day because I don't be focused. And I talk in sentences like, don't be focused. But yeah, okay, so this was something that Bonnie Ingo said. This is going to lead me into Carl's speech and stuff, which is in the file section, and you guys should watch it. Bonnie Ingo, or was it Bonnie Ingo? It wasn't. I'll have to go back to my notes. Talked about using cheap bait. If you use cheap bait, you'll never catch a good fish. And she actually used the analogy that she once caught. Does anybody like to go fishing? Have you ever caught a bluegill? I have. Anybody else ever caught a bluegill? Okay.
Rockhead, which is probably about the same amount of value.
Yeah, and so apparently a bluegill is like a piece of crap fish, and they're really stupid, and you don't eat them because they're like poop fish. And so she actually used the analogy. She said that she caught a bluegill before with her own spit and a Tupperware. Because she spit on the water and because her spit glistened, the bluegill came up to eat her spit and she had her Tupperware ready. She was like 8. And then they used the bluegill as bait to catch other fish. And so she's like, that fish was dumb and it wanted my spit. So that was the analogy she used for us to be like don't use cheap bait and to bait with purpose. And that brings me into Carl. If you guys, those of you who are newer coaches, if you've never heard Carl Deichler speak, I really implore you to please go watch the video in our file section of our team page. He's the CEO and co-founder of our company, and when you hear him talk, it's not about the money, it's not about the numbers, it's all about the purpose, and it's all about changing lives. And hearing him say it will make you feel and believe so much more in this company than I can ever do or say, than Lorelai can ever do or say, than Andrea or Joelle can ever do or say for you. Hearing it from him, who is the one who profits the most from us, will really, truly impact you. he actually said, and you'll see it in the video, he was like, can we just do away with income posts? Like, why are you trying to draw people in with the money? The money is so subsidiary to what our purpose is as a company. Does that mean I'm never going to share an income post? No, because like sometimes people, they're there for the purpose, but then when they also see that there's an earning potential, those are the ones I want. Like I want the ones who are going to hustle for the income, but know that the purpose has to be there, you know? So, but to hear him say that was like really powerful. We were all just like, oh my gosh, like that just happened. You know, he's telling us like to stop doing this because he doesn't want the people who are signing up for the quick money, because the quick money is like, that's going to be fleeting. You know, he wants people that he really wants to change the lives of people around the world. And like, that's really, really powerful. So if you haven't watched it yet, especially if you haven't ever heard him speak, go to that section. All of the lessons, all of the sermons, all of the lectures, not sermons, sorry. I go to church. All of the lectures are, I'd say, under 30 minutes. Is that right, Lorelai? When you watch, they're under 30 minutes, right?
I think one was like 34, but yeah.
Yeah, they kept them like really short and compact, and then just moved on to the next one and stuff. So,
but none of them feel like you're having to listen to a long time.
No, exactly. We were sitting there and we're looking how long we're having to sit in this lecture hall, and we're just like, oh, we're here like forever. But it went so fast because it was broken up so well, and like they really pulled you in. Even the P&P talk, man, that one. It was good. But yeah, so I would love for you guys all to go at least watch, you know, I want you to watch them all, but watch the Carl Deichler one. I want you to know the passion behind our company, and I don't think that there's always that opportunity, and I don't think that well, I mean, just raise your hand if you've never listened to Carl Deichler talk. Just one, really? I think they just don't want to raise their hands. But yeah, hearing his passion and stuff, it was awesome. And meeting him was even more awesome. So I got a couple more things for you, then we'll open it up if you guys have any questions or just for whatever. I'm going to end with that because that's a good point. Oh, something Bonnie Ingalls said, and I will tell you, no, you're not a loser, Mary. I think that people just didn't want to raise their hands. Bonnie Ingalls said, and this goes back, this is really funny, why that guy, remember I told you there was the doctor, and then there was the nurse, and there was the guy who was like, well, I'm not a doctor or a nurse, and then he got called out on this too. So Bonnie Ingalls said, there's no aha moments. She said she absolutely loathes the word aha, or the phrase aha moments. She said that aha moments don't mean anything unless you have aha action. So you need to have aha action. So if you're on a team call, or you're listening to a misfit training, or you're listening to a training call of any kind, and something's like, oh my God, I should do that, go flippin' do it. It doesn't matter if it's like, oh, that's so good. If you don't put it into action, if you don't implement it somehow into your business or into your life, it doesn't matter. So aha moments are crap, and aha actions are amazing. So this poor guy gets up there on stage, and his first thing is like, he's like, I'm not a doctor or a nurse, you know? And then the first question, I believe like Craig Coyler, who is the 5-star and up rep of the Southeast region, I think the first thing he said to him was like, so what was your aha moment when you went from being just like a hobby coach into really realizing that this was a passion? And like, he looks around the room like this, and he's like, I don't think I'm allowed to have an aha moment, but my aha action was, because obviously he knew the questions that were going to be asked of him, but he didn't know what Bonnie was going to say. So like, poor thing was like beet red for like the first half of his like interview. He's like, aha moments, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, like I got nothing. So anyways, so what I want to end with you guys, this was when there was a little bit of talk about like recruiting and how we recruit our best selves and our best coaches who are going to have the same passion and the same belief that we have. And talking about, you know, recruiting is not a dirty word. But I believe it was, who talked about recruiting, you guys? Jesus, I have all my notes here. You guys don't even understand. This notebook is full of notes, like from the conference, and then broken down to the ones that I wanted to share with Lorelai, the ones that I wanted to share with my team leaders, and the ones I wanted to share with the team as a whole. Like it's, and then there's my workbook. I feel like I had something from the workbook that I did want to point out though. I guess I don't have it here. That's okay. I'll just post it on the team page if I come across it. But I think it was, I just want to give the right person credit. I want to say it was Melanie Mitra, which was surprising because normally Bonnie Engel is my recruiting spirit animal. Oh, that's what I want to go over with you guys. That'll be fun. Okay. I love this is being recorded, and I'm just going to go ahead and just stall.
While you're looking for that, though, I can't suggest enough the Carl Deichler talk. I mean, like she was saying, you really get a passion for the company, and he gives an example of another company that is struggling to make it work, and it's because they don't have the crucial key behind it. I don't want to spoil it for you, but because you have to hear it from his voice, because it makes a difference why we build these little communities within the company is because of this atmosphere he's given us. So I highly suggest it. I started listening to the videos, and I was commenting my takeaways at the bottom, and I would love it if you guys popped in to the file section where Jenni posted them and did the same, and let's all interact and talk about our takeaways and grow together through it.
Were you not trying to tell the why he was talking to that guy? Is that the part that you want them to hear?
I mean, I just thought it was good coming from his mouth. I didn't want to ruin his.
Yeah, no, because I didn't want to say it if that's what you were holding. Yeah. I won't say it then too, but you need to hear it. Okay, so yes, it was Melanie Mitra. I just want to give the credit to the right person. So she basically, I think it was her. I don't know, whatever. It was 3 women. It was one of them. Basically, they said, who in this room, raise your hand, whose life has Beachbody changed? Like, whose life has Beachbody changed? Mine. I know we have some brand new coaches, so obviously maybe it hasn't yet, but I know that some of you who started as challengers, you can probably raise your hand that Beachbody's changed your life in whatever way. I know for me personally, Beachbody brought back my confidence, you know. Those of you who know my story, I'm sorry, but you're going to hear a snippet of it again. But before I started T25 and started my journey, like I grew my hair out. I wore sweaters like this all the time. I didn't want to really like make any friends. Like my only friends, like before I started, was actually Miss Jen Herniak and our other friend Amy. And I literally and Lacey, but then Lacey moved away. And I literally just stuck to like them 3. Like I had other Facebook friends who were local, but I didn't want, like, they just made me feel really comfortable. And like we had a lot of things in common, and like I could be myself around them, but like the general public, like I didn't want my tattoos to show. I didn't want to stand out like whatsoever. And I had like my 4 or 5 people that I felt like I could actually be myself around. And that was it. Like I said, I grew my hair out. I covered my tattoos. I didn't know how to dress my body and all that stuff. And like, that's like a huge way that, you know, Beachbody changed my life. And I've told this story too. Like when I first started losing weight, I asked my husband, I said, here's my pictures. Like, do you notice the difference? Like when you look at me, you can be like, yeah, she's losing weight. And he was like, you smile more. He's like, that's the difference that I see. And I was like, wow. Like I started crying, of course, but that's huge, you know. And then financially, you know, Beachbody's changed my life. But even before that, it was within me that Beachbody changed. So what the point of that was, if you yourself can say that Beachbody changed your life on any front, whether it's a physical change, a confidence change, a financial change, or whatever, then essentially you're saying that the person who invited you to this business, whether it was you coming to them or them inviting you, or via a post, or via you were a challenger first and you decided to do this, whatever it was, the greatest gift that person ever gave to you was inviting you to this opportunity. And so that was really powerful, because we so often can think of recruiting as a dirty word. We can so often think of recruiting as a negative thing, or like, people aren't going to want to join my team, you know. But if you can say that in some way Beachbody's changed your life, then that's a gift that you have to give somebody else. And like, so knocking down that stigma should be an easy thing, because you know what it's done for you. And if it could do a fraction of what it's done for you for somebody else, why would you keep that to yourself? And that was really powerful for me to hear, because that's the one part you know, I know like we have our team leaders board and, you know, like it's like, oh, Jenni recruited 5 coaches last month, but you guys will see like, it's not always like that for me. Like I go through months where I'm so scared. Like I get blocks and I'm scared to invite people because I let all these like weird things happen in my head. But if I can pull from these things where I'm just like, wait, I have something to give to people, something that could change their lives. If I could get one girl to cut her hair short and dye it silver again like she wanted to when she was like 5 years ago, then frick, you guys, like that's awesome. Like the day I cut my hair was huge for me, okay? And the day I dyed it silver was even bigger. I was like texting my friends, like I think I texted Lorelai and Jen and Lacey, and I was like, can I really do this? Can I pull this off? Like, can I actually do this? And they're like, go for it. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this, you know? And I didn't know I hadn't dyed my hair a funky color in 5 years because that's the last time I felt confident. But if I can give that to somebody else, then who am I to keep that from somebody? So that's really powerful. So now I can draw on that when I get my fears of recruiting, because I get them too, you guys. I get, see, blue or purple. You do it, girl. You go blue or purple. But, you know, that's just, that was, and that's why I was saying like with Bonnie Engel, because Bonnie Engel is like that too. She comes more from a place of like, if somebody told you were good at something, doesn't that make you feel good? Doesn't that make you feel good if somebody says, you're good at this? Like, you would be good at this. She used to be in a pharmaceutical rep. And so she had her application on, like, what is that? Monster.com. Yeah, Monster.com, like the job recruiting site. And people would look at her application and they'd write her or they'd email her and they'd be like, you would be really good for our company. Like, we would love to interview you or whatever. And she's like, do you know how good that made me feel? And that's basically what you're doing. You're telling somebody that they'd be good at something and why they'd be good at it. And basically, like, do you want to interview for this? Like, do you want to maybe try this out? So that plus this has like totally changed like where I'm going to go moving forward. My 5 coaches that I recruited in in January. Let's see. Most of them were girls that were previous challengers, and they decided themselves that they're like, I'm going to do this and I'm worth it and I'm going to help somebody else do it. And so even them, I can't take credit for. I didn't go back and ask them like, bye, Katie. I can't even say that like I was like a badass enough to go invite these girls that joined my team. You know, like they just saw the products and got the results themselves and wanted to pay it forward. So, but you can best believe that moving forward, I'll be doing a lot more personal inviting and inviting to sneak peeks and inviting what is coaching because of these theories that I've heard, you know. And then I know that Jennifer had a really, I never call you Jennifer. That was weird. That was weird. Was that weird to hear? Mm-hmm. I never call you Jennifer. Jen. I know Jen had a really powerful message last week about stepping out of your comfort zone and inviting people too. And if you guys weren't on the call last week to hear that, go watch the recording. It was a really, really good call. So that is all I have. Oh, I wanted to talk. I lied. That's not all I have. I'm flipping through my notebook. So
you scan those in for us. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real fast. So John Condon actually is the other co-founder of Beachbody. So if you guys don't know his name, you need to know his name because there was some leaders who are obviously too stirring up because they're at NLC and they didn't know who John Condon was, and I wanted to punch them in the face and also cradle them like a baby at the same time. Because you should know Carl Deichler and you should know John Condon. Even though he's like the silent partner, he does get up at all the events and he talks about things and he's okay with not being the face, but he does have important things to say. So he actually talked about technology stuff. So I want to go down the list and tell you guys what's coming up because some of this stuff hasn't been launched yet or talked about. So cleaning up in the back office. As you guys know, they continue to have a little shutdown so they can work on things. Those of you who don't know, about 1.5 years ago, we hired a guy to make our back office more efficient. He got a job offer from Google, and he totally pieced out on Beachbody, and he was a self-worker. So he basically didn't let his team do anything or know anything. So they were at a loss when he left. And so we had to hire a new guy on a bigger budget, and he had to not only fix the problems, but he had to figure out what the problems were and what this guy was flipping doing in our back office and all the little like code and stuff that they write. So it's been a process. It's getting better, and it will continue to get better until the job is done. And then we already know about the Beachbody app that is coming out, and that we can run our challenge groups on and stuff like that too. But there is actually going to be mobile stuff where we can run our businesses off of our phones. So instead of having you can save like the coaching, like the coach enroll. What's it called, Lorelai?
Mobile enrollment.
Mobile enrollment. It'll actually be an app that we can go into to enroll coaches, to sign up coaches, to that they can go onto a Beachbody app that they can go onto and order from, that's directly linked to our accounts. So that's exciting. That probably won't be till later this year. The infrastructure as it goes down. There's shit in the future when they have to go into the back office and edit and change things. We won't get those messages that say, oh, the back office is going to be closed from this time to this time, because we'll have a backup infrastructure that'll be just as solid as the front one. Mm-hmm. So it'll be 24/7, always, 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 without those kind of every month kind of glitches where we have like a close time. There's going to be a new website for a shopping platform, which is sounds like they're just redoing the whole storefront so that it's easier for people to access what they want, which I kind of feel like it's easy-ish now, well, especially with the direct links, but maybe that's what they're talking about. But that'll happen later this year also.
Maybe they're flushing out the $1 million body stuff because it's not relative to the brand anymore.
Yeah. Customer service revamp. This is a big thing. They are really focusing on training all of the customer service. I always make the joke that when you get signed up as a coach, that you're either going to have wonderful customer service experiences or you're going to have awful. I'm lucky enough to have wonderful. I think it's like 75% get wonderful and 25% get awful. But I always get wonderful. Lacey always gets awful. But it's a joke.
I've gotten a lot of really good ones lately. I think they're making the positive change.
They are. They really are. They're really focusing on training. We do have a couple of outsourced sites, and so what they're doing with those, they're actually sending people from corporate to go to hand train them. It's not just saying, here's a manual, train your staff. They are sending corporate there, and they are saying, like, this is how it needs to be done. If your people can't do this, we will find people who can, basically. We want your people to learn how to do this and help our customers. So that's what's happening with customer service. They're planning on opening up more call centers in both local and abroad. And then I know that there was a fulfillment
error. Removing the warehouse.
Error. There was a fulfillment issue when they were moving the warehouses, but all of that is done, and that's actually going to make everything go faster. It's like a pick, pack, ship facility, and it's going to be it's the biggest one. And like the issues that were happening last month with people, or I guess it was December, it was taking a lot longer for shipments because what was happening is the invoice was going to two places, and they were having to communicate between the two which one was going to ship. And so that's what was happening with the fulfillment problems in December, but that won't happen again now the facility's up and running and everything's going to its official places. And of course, Beachbody apologizes for the inconvenience that it may have caused any of your customers, but I think that they compensated all of them with some free gifts. So
and you'll also see on your orders where it's stamped like who it's inspected by or packed by or something like that too. Have you noticed that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, now it's like a little stamp, so it tells you. And I think because they have to put their name on it, they double check a little better. Nice.
I never look at my invoices. That's good to know, though. And that's honestly all I have for you guys. I mean, I have more, but the other things I have, I'll just put in like posts, and I'll just kind of sprinkle them throughout time, and it'll be great. But if you have a goal of hitting 2-star this year, I highly recommend you push your little booties for it, because it's totally possible, and find your team, find your tribe, and push together and make it happen. This was an amazing, amazing event, and it was really cool to kind of just be on the other side of things, because Summit is amazing, you guys. I hope you guys are all planning on going to Summit. Summit is amazing, but it's really big, and this compared to Summit was really small. There was, I think, 400 coaches total. Nice. And it was just really cool. it was a really cool experience, and it was cool to hear new information and how it can, and how it can affect our teams and growing our teams and moving forward and stuff like that. So I've been talking to you guys for almost an hour, and we never want to keep it that long. So I apologize, but we'll open it up if anybody has any questions. Or if you guys just want to chat about anything. It doesn't have to be questions about what I just talked about. It can be questions about anything. But I apologize for running so long. I have just so many takeaways.
I wanted to say real quick, anybody who goes next year will be going with me. I didn't get to go this year. So part of the benefit of going next year is I get to have you guys with me. I'm sorry.
I know. I after being at this event, like, I realized why Andrea and Joelle were like, we want to go with you so bad. I'm like, that's how I'm seriously gonna like have 100% like fear of missing out next year when you guys are all there. I'm like sitting here watching your updates like this. Because you only get to go to one new leadership. You can go to leadership conference as many times as you qualify, but new leader conference, you only get to go once. So I'm just gonna be like this.
So who's going to go with me and make Jenny go?
Monica's going.
Yes.
Danielle, why isn't your hand up, Danielle?
She is.
Danielle has a 2-star goal. I don't know why her hand's not up.